Imagine waking up to find that the wildest plot twist in finance just happened overnight. One day, Bitcoin's price takes a nosedive. I'm talking a sharply plunging, hold onto your seat drop that leaves investors sweating. The next day, out of nowhere, a familiar figure strides into the spotlight and suddenly praises Bitcoin, sending its price rocketing back up. Sounds like the setup to a thriller, right? But this isn't fiction, it's real life in the 2020s, where cryptocurrency markets and political personalities collide in unpredictable ways. In this story, the leading man is none other than Donald J. Trump, and the drama is as American as apple pie with a side of volatility. We've got a mystery on our hands. Did an ex-president just pull off a grand crypto caper, or is he simply hopping on a trend at just the right moment? In today's comedic deep dive, we're unraveling the tale of Trump, the Bitcoin reserve, and the future of crypto, a roller coaster of market crashes, tweet storm turnarounds, and big questions about what comes next. Buckle up, because this monologue is about to take you on a ride through jaw-dropping headlines, tongue-in-cheek speculation, and the bigger picture of where our crypto-crazy world might be headed. The Bitcoin roller coaster. Crash, rally, and whiplash. Let's set the stage. It's a calm evening in crypto land when suddenly, bam, Bitcoin's price falls off a cliff. We're talking a sharp, stomach-dropping decline that had even the most stoic investors spitting out their coffee. In the span of hours, the world's biggest cryptocurrency plunged by double digits in percentage. Nobody was sure what triggered it. Maybe a rumor about government regulation, maybe some billionaire whale decided to cash out, or maybe the crypto gods just rolled out of bed on the wrong side. Heck, there was even talk that a certain political figure's trade war announcement rattled markets. Hold that thought. In any case, it was as if the floor fell out from under Bitcoin's feet, to put it in everyday terms. Imagine if the Dow Jones tanked a few thousand points between lunch and dinner. That's the kind of sudden shock we saw. The reactions were pandemonium. Social media was ablaze with panicked memes and "I told you so" posts. One Reddit user joked, "Well, there goes my kid's college fund, thanks a lot, crypto." Over on Twitter, or X, whatever we call it now, hashtags like Bitcoin crash and HODL were trending simultaneously, one side screaming that the sky was falling, the other yelling, "Hold on for dear life." You had the newbies in full-on meltdown, posting GIFs of people hyperventilating into paper bags, while veteran crypto traders were eerily calm, sipping coffee with captions like "Just another Tuesday in Bitcoin land." Even mainstream news anchors dusted off their "Is this the end of Bitcoin?" scripts for the umpteenth time. In short, confidence was shaken more violently than a California earthquake, and everyone from Wall Street suits to teenage TikTok investors felt the jolt. Now, just when the crypto community was about to collectively curl up in the fetal position, clutching their dwindling portfolios, enter Donald Trump, stage right. The very next day, as if he had a flair for dramatic timing, and let's face it, he does, Trump made a public statement that left everyone's jaws on the floor. In a post blasted out on social media, picture a classic Trump tweet just on his own platform, he gave Bitcoin a glowing endorsement. Yes, you heard that correctly. The same Donald Trump who once declared, "I'm not a fan of Bitcoin," was now effectively singing Bitcoin's praises. He announced that under his plan, the U.S. government would create a crypto strategic reserve, basically a stash of digital assets for the country, and that this reserve would include Bitcoin. He even bragged in his post with his signature flair, something along the lines of, "Crypto strategic reserve so exciting. The U.S. will have the best crypto, including Bitcoin and a few others. We can't fall behind. Under my leadership, America will lead in digital assets." Add a dozen exclamation points and you get the picture. Think strategic petroleum reserve, but replace barrels of oil with bundles of Bitcoin. We're in uncharted territory here. Trump talking about holding Bitcoin in America's strategic coffers. That notion alone was enough to make heads explode on both Wall Street and Main Street. People went wild at this news. It was like someone flipped a switch from gloom to glee. Social media exploded with rocket ship emojis and "Bitcoin to the moon." Posts replaced the gloom in record time. Some hardcore Bitcoin believers were practically high-fiving each other, crowing that crypto had finally made it to the White House. Meanwhile, a few crypto purists were uneasy, muttering, "I have a bad feeling about this, government and Bitcoin shouldn't mix." And plenty of folks were just flat-out stunned. Screenshots of Trump's 2019, "not a fan of Bitcoin" tweet were circulating with snarky comments like "people change, I guess." The idea of a US crypto reserve, something no country had ever tried, felt surreal. Was Uncle Sam going to start hoarding Bitcoin like gold? Would they put hardware wallets in Fort Knox next to the gold bars? Jokes flew around. "In Trump we trust, all others pay with Bitcoin." It was a bizarre moment of worlds colliding, and nobody wanted to miss the fireworks. Speaking of fireworks, the market reaction was instantaneous and insane. Bitcoin's price shot up faster than a bottle rocket on the 4th of July. One minute, people were mourning their losses. The next, they were frantically refreshing their apps as the numbers skyrocketed. It was as if the crypto gods said, "Trump's on board, all right, let's party." Within hours, Bitcoin recovered all its losses and then some, a double-digit percentage surge that had traders' heads spinning. And it wasn't just Bitcoin catching the love. Other cryptocurrencies, even those obscure altcoins that only your nerdy cousin has heard of, suddenly went to the moon as well. Why? Because Trump's post name-dropped a few of them too. Imagine waking up to find that the random token you bought on a whim, maybe because its logo was cute, just doubled in price, because the 45th president of the United States casually mentioned it. Crazy, right? It was a crypto carnival, and everyone had a ticket to the wildest ride of the year. For a brief, euphoric moment, it felt like Christmas in cryptoland. Bitcoin was back from the dead, CNBC commentators were grinning instead of grimacing, and Trump was basking in the glow of being the man of the crypto hour. But here's the kicker: this frenzy was short-lived. By the next afternoon, reality checked back in with a bit of a smirk. After the initial rocket ride upward, the crypto markets started sputtering and sliding back down to earth. That massive spike, it leveled off. Bitcoin's price began descending from its Trump-induced high, and by the end of the day it was roughly back to where it had started before all this drama. Talk about whiplash. It was like watching a Hollywood stunt. The sports car flies off a ramp, does a mid-air flip, and then lands right back where it took off, maybe a little scratched up, while the crowd blinks in disbelief. Honestly, it felt like an episode of The Apprentice, Crypto Edition. One day you're out, the next day you're back in, and Trump is nodding with a smug grin. This whirlwind 48-hour period left everyone's heads spinning. One day, terror and despair. The next, jubilation and greed. And the day after that, a collective "what the heck just happened" across America. Crypto veterans just shrugged and said, "Told ya, just another weekend in Bitcoin, folks." Newcomers were either thanking the heavens or cursing their timing, depending on when they bought in. Everybody was talking about Donald Trump's wild crypto intervention, from Reddit forums to cable news panels. It was the kind of sequence that makes you question whether there's a puppet master behind the scenes or if the universe just has a wicked sense of humor. Naturally, eyebrows were raised higher than the rocks during a WWE SmackDown. Was this all just a weird coincidence, a lucky or unlucky twist of fate? Or had Mr. Trump deliberately dropped a match onto the gasoline of an already volatile situation? The timing was impeccable, perhaps a little too impeccable if you ask the conspiracy theorists. And thus, the murmurs began. Did Donald Trump or folks in his inner circle profit from this perfectly timed crypto chaos? Let's dig into that, shall we? Coincidence or conspiracy? Did Trump profit from Bitcoin's wild swing? All right, let's talk about the $64,000 question, or should we say $64,000 Bitcoin question. Did Donald Trump or his buddies secretly make a killing from this perfectly timed crypto roller coaster? The sequence of events was so picture-perfect that you can't blame people for putting on their tinfoil hats, even if just for giggles. Think about it. Bitcoin's price plunges to a juicy low, then Trump swoops in with the most bullish statement imaginable, and boom, the price rockets upward. If you were a slick operator with a heads-up on that 1-2 punch, you could buy at the bottom, sell at the top, and make out like a bandit. So was it just coincidence, or was there a bit of cunning behind the scenes? Quick explainer. Why can one person's tweet make Bitcoin go crazy? In case you're wondering how it's even possible for a few words online to swing a trillion-dollar asset like Bitcoin, here's the skinny. Bitcoin's price is 100% based on people's perception and demand. There's no CEO or earnings report or GDP number that directly anchors its value. It's worth what people think it's worth at any given moment. And boy, do those minds change fast. The crypto market runs 24/7 worldwide like a never-ending casino. It never sleeps, never closes, which means news can hit any time and traders react in real time, even at 3 a.m. on a Sunday. Now, Bitcoin is also relatively concentrated. A lot of it is held by a small number of big players. We lovingly call them whales. When a whale makes a splash, the tide moves. If some whales, say, a hedge fund or maybe a billionaire with a flair for social media starts buying or selling like crazy, it jolts the price. Add to that millions of smaller traders who follow the trend, and you get a recipe for extreme volatility. Emotions rule here: FOMO, fear of missing out when things are rising, and FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt when things are falling. It's like a roller coaster fueled by collective psychology. Bitcoin is also a chameleon asset. Some people treat it like a stock, some like gold, some like a high-risk gamble. There aren't established valuation models, so headlines and hype play an outsized role. Remember Elon Musk's Bitcoin adventures? Just him posting memes or even a single word online has sent crypto prices haywire. In such an environment, someone as influential as a U.S. president making bullish noises is like throwing a match into a fireworks factory. The reaction can be explosive. So when Trump suddenly gave Bitcoin a thumbs up, a bunch of things happened at once. Algorithms scanning social media picked up U.S. government and Bitcoin in the same sentence and started buying. Human investors saw the news and thought, whoa, mass adoption is coming, buy now or regret later. And whales who anticipated this news rode the wave, amplifying it. It became a self-fulfilling surge, at least for a short while. Long story short, the crypto market is highly reactive. It runs on sentiment, momentum, and a dash of chaos. That's why Trump's comment could yank Bitcoin's price around so much, and why anyone with advanced knowledge of that comment stood to profit big time. Rumors and whispers started swirling faster than a Florida hurricane, and amateur sleuths on crypto forums began hunting through blockchain records for clues. In the cryptosphere, some eagle-eyed watchers noticed huge transactions around those pivotal moments. One story even surfaced about a mysterious whale, crypto lingo for a big-money player, who pocketed somewhere around $6.7 million thanks to the Trump-induced price swing. Now, I don't know about you, but making $7 million in a day off Bitcoin's mood swings sounds like either incredible luck or incredibly good information. $7 million in a day, that's enough to buy a fancy mansion or a few shiny new Ferraris. Not a bad day's work. Cue the suspicious side-eye. Was this whale just a lucky dolphin catching the wave, or did they perhaps get a wink-wink tip that a certain orange-haired market mover was about to do something big? Some jokesters even quipped that the whale's account name might rhyme with Ronald Crump. That's how wild the speculation got. Let's paint a humorous hypothetical. Imagine Trump on the phone the night before his big announcement, perhaps talking to one of his close confidants. We'll call him John Doe to be safe. In my head, it plays out like this. Trump hushed, conspiratorial tone. Psst, tomorrow I'm gonna say something huge about Bitcoin. Trust me, it's gonna send the price through the roof. You know what to do tonight, buy as much of that Bitcoin as you can. We're gonna make a killing, it'll be the best trade, believe me. Confidant grinning ear to ear, you got it boss, buying low as we speak. We'll have the most beautiful profits, tremendous profits. Okay, that's pure imagination, don't sue me, it's a joke. But honestly, it's not far off from what plenty of folks were thinking. After all, we've seen this movie before, haven't we? Remember Elon Musk's wild Twitter adventures. One week he adds Bitcoin to his Twitter bio and sends the price to the moon. Another week he's memeing about Dogecoin and that price explodes. People definitely speculated that Musk or Tesla benefited financially from those moves. Tesla did buy Bitcoin before Musk hyped it, just saying. So the idea of a famous billionaire playing puppet master with crypto prices isn't exactly new. Trump might just be the newest member of that club, and he sure picked a heck of a way to make his grand entrance. Here's the thing. If anyone else had pulled a stunt like this in the stock market, regulators would be all over them. Imagine a CEO buying a ton of their company's stock, then announcing fantastic news that shoots up the stock price, then cashing out. That's basically textbook insider trading. The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, would be drafting subpoenas before you could say market manipulation. But crypto? It's the Wild West, partner, and the usual rules don't exactly apply. There's no specific law, yet against a politician tweeting and then benefiting from the market reaction. No watchdog is monitoring whether a former president's buddies loaded up on Bitcoin before his surprise announcement. In other words, the crypto market is a playground where big players can sometimes do things that would send them to timeout in traditional finance. Heck, members of Congress get away with questionable stock trades all the time, and that's in regulated markets. In cryptoland, a little pre-announcement shopping spree would barely raise an eyebrow. Of course, as the saying goes, correlation is not causation. Just because Trump's announcement and some lucky trades happened around the same time doesn't prove anything shady. We don't have a security camera recording of Trump cackling while clicking buy on Coinbase, or a leaked email titled "Let's pump this thing." For all we know, it truly could have been a well-timed coincidence. Maybe Trump was genuinely just trying to pump morale, and his approval ratings by boosting Bitcoin, and any profiteering by others was just a happy side effect. It's possible, but come on, the coincidence was rich enough to make Willy Wonka jealous. Let's be a bit irreverent here. Trump has never been shy about making a buck or playing to his advantage. This is the businessman who plastered his name on skyscrapers, casinos, stakes, and even a so-called university. Are we to believe he wouldn't notice an opportunity to turn a profit if it was gift-wrapped for him? Also remember, he's dabbled in the crypto world before, albeit in his own Trumpian way. Those Trump NFT trading cards of himself in superhero getups that sold out in hours. A cool few million made from people buying digital Trump collectibles. The man clearly knows there's money to be made in the digital asset space. If nothing else, he certainly enjoyed the spectacle he created with Bitcoin. The man loves attention like Bitcoin loves volatility. Even if he didn't directly make money off this, he got what he always craves: the spotlight, the headlines, the chance to dominate the conversation. In Trump's world, attention is as good as currency, and by that measure, he definitely came out ahead. It's also worth noting the bragging rights factor. Imagine him at a rally thundering, "Bitcoin went way up because of me, your favorite president." Believe me, it's a narrative win he'd relish. He can claim he has the magic touch to make markets surge, something he's always loved to do. Remember how he took credit whenever the stock market hit record highs. Whether it's true or not isn't as important. What matters is people might believe it, and it adds to the legend of Trump, master of markets. And if he personally made a nice chunk of change from the maneuver, well, that's just the cherry on top of the sundae. So did Trump or his inner circle bank some sweet gains from this crypto caper? We can't say for sure. There's smoke, but no confirmed fire, at least not yet. Maybe someday a whistleblower will spill the beans, or a blockchain sleuth will uncover a suspicious wallet tied to someone famous. Or maybe this will remain one of those tantalizing, could it be, legends that crypto fans debate over beers. What we do know is that the timing was suspiciously perfect. And even if the man didn't make a dime off it, he still got to strut and preen as the guy who can move Bitcoin with a single post. That in itself might have been motivation enough. But speaking of motivation, let's not stop at how he might have profited. We should also ask why he did any of this in the first place. Money, power, influence, ego. With Trump, there's always an angle. To figure it out, we need to dig into the possible master plan, or lack thereof, behind Trump's big Bitcoin play. Time to channel our inner Sherlock Holmes, deerstalker hat on, pipe in hand, and explore what might be going on in that brain of his. Onward to the wild world of Trump's motivations for embracing crypto. The method to the madness, Trump's crypto motivations. So what on earth was Trump thinking? To figure that out, we have to delve into the possible motivations swirling in that famous hair-covered head of his. With a character as colorful and calculating as Donald Trump, there's rarely a single reason for anything. It's usually a cocktail of self-interest, showmanship, and strategy with a twist of ego. Let's break down the theories, shall we? Here are a few possible motives behind Trump's big crypto play, served up with a dash of humor: personal profit, show me the money. Let's start with the obvious cold, hard cash. Trump is a businessman first and foremost. If he saw an opportunity to make money, you can bet your Mar-a-Lago membership he'd consider it. By talking up Bitcoin right after a price crash, he could have been looking to buy low, talk it up, sell high. Whether through his own investments, his family, or friendly billionaire pals, personal gain is a prime suspect here. Remember, this is the guy who boasts about making great deals 24/7. You think he'd pass up a great deal in crypto? Turning a quick profit on Bitcoin would just be another very good deal, a fantastic deal to add to his list. For someone who loves stacking gold, and we can safely assume Bitcoin counts as digital gold, the allure of lining his pockets and later saying, "See, I told you so," if Bitcoin's sword must have been strong. If there's a dollar to be made, Trump's radar pings like a metal detector at the beach. Political strategy and power play. Now, money aside, consider the political angle. Trump might be betting that being pro-crypto gives him an edge politically. Picture him positioning himself as the visionary leader who embraces new technology and financial innovation. It's a way to energize parts of his base, especially younger, tech-savvy voters or libertarian-leaning folks who love the idea of Bitcoin sticking it to the Federal Reserve. By championing a crypto strategic reserve and talking up Bitcoin, he's effectively telling voters, "Hey, I'm making sure America isn't missing out on the future of money." It's a populist play too. Crypto now has a lot of everyday people and swing state investors involved. He can say, "I've got your back, I'm boosting your 401k, well, your 401 crypto." Plus, it diverts the conversation from less favorable topics. Instead of headlines about whatever the controversy of the week is, suddenly everyone's talking about Trump and Bitcoin. Strategically, that's a win. It's like adding a new Trump card, pun absolutely intended, to his political deck that captures a news cycle and perhaps even wins over some crypto enthusiast donors. Let's not forget the crypto industry has money and lobbyists now. Cozying up to crypto could attract campaign contributions from that crowd. Always handy in an election year. Ego and legacy, the legend of Trump. With Trump, you can never discount ego. The man's got an ego as large as one of his skyscrapers. Embracing Bitcoin could be part of crafting his legacy as the president who ushered in a new financial era. Maybe he wants historians to say, Trump was ahead of the curve on crypto, whether true or not. Also consider, Trump loves being first, biggest, best. If he thinks crypto is the next big thing, he sure as heck doesn't want to be seen as the guy who got left behind. Remember how he space-forced his way into creating a new branch of the military. Similarly, a national Bitcoin reserve is a moonshot idea that could cement his name in the history books, or at least in the Wikipedia article for crypto adoption in the USA. And let's face it, he adores the spotlight. By stepping into the crypto arena, he instantly becomes a central figure in a hot, trending topic. You can almost hear him bragging. People are calling it the Trump pump. Some people are saying I'm the best thing that ever happened to Bitcoin. He lives for that kind of talk, even if he's often the one originating it. So part of this could simply be about amplifying the Trump brand and feeding his ego, trying to become the king of crypto, or at least taking credit as a trailblazer. He probably wouldn't mind if someday his face got carved onto the Mount Rushmore of crypto influencers. I bet someone's already editing his profile picture with those red laser eyes, the ultimate Bitcoiner badge of honor. Trolling the critics and distraction. Ah, the troll factor. We cannot ignore that Trump has a penchant for doing things that make his critics go bananas. Endorsing Bitcoin, something many of his usual adversaries, like certain regulators and political rivals, have frowned upon, is a prime way to stir the pot. It's almost an act of rebellion. The establishment says crypto is risky, better be careful, so Trump says screw it, let's buy a ton of it. This likely made a few senators choke on their coffee. I'd pay to see Senator Elizabeth Warren's reaction in real time. She's been a fierce crypto skeptic, and here comes Trump doing the opposite. But guess what? The controversy and outrage can play right into his hands. It distracts from other issues and keeps the spotlight exactly where he likes it, on him. When everyone is busy debating, did Trump just pump Bitcoin to profit? Or is Trump crazy genius for wanting a crypto reserve? They're not talking about, say, his legal woes or any other political messes. Classic misdirection. Look over here at this shiny Bitcoin thing while I do my other tricks behind the curtain. In short, trolling and distraction could very well be part of the calculus. If nothing else, this move annoyed all the right people from his perspective and delighted those who enjoy watching said people get annoyed. For Trump, that's a 2-for-1 special he'll take any day. America First, Tech Edition. Trump has always been an America First kind of guy. It's possible he sees embracing crypto as a way to keep America ahead in the global finance game. He might be thinking about how other countries are dealing with crypto, China cracking down hard, smaller nations experimenting, hello, El Salvador, and positioning the US to benefit. By creating a Bitcoin reserve, he's essentially saying he wants the US to stockpile the future's version of gold. It could be a strategic hedge. If Bitcoin really is digital gold, having a hefty national reserve might strengthen America's financial fortress. Plus, consider the international bragging rights. Maybe he's thinking, China's trying to ban Bitcoin. Well, we're gonna own Bitcoin big time. He can later claim the US is outsmarting other countries by embracing innovation rather than shunning it. On the campaign trail, he literally said, if crypto is going to define the future, it should be made in America. This could be him following through. So this is patriotism meets techno-economic strategy. In his mind, he's securing America's financial future, or at least putting on a good show that he is. It's a bit dramatic, some would say unnecessary, but hey, it fits the go big or go home doctrine we've come to expect. In a way, it's like Make America Great Again, but for crypto maybe, Make America Crypto Again could be a new catchphrase. True believer, wait, did Trump get orange-pilled? Here's a curveball, maybe Trump actually became a crypto convert behind the scenes. Cue the gasp. Perhaps someone managed to sit him down and explain Bitcoin in terms he appreciates. Scarcity, only 21 million will ever exist, kinda like limited edition Trump merch. Sovereignty, no single institution controls it, stick it to the Fed. And success stories, people getting rich, big companies investing. Could be he thought, a lot of people are saying Bitcoin is the future, maybe I should be the one to make it happen. We know he's had some exposure. Those Trump NFTs, digital trading cards of himself sold like hotcakes. He made money off crypto collectibles, so he's dipped his toes in the digital asset pond. It's not crazy to think he might have warmed up to the broader crypto world since his based on thin air dismissal in 2019. Especially seeing Bitcoin's price multiply many times since then, nothing like a price chart going up to change one's tune. Perhaps watching others, even rival Elon Musk bask in crypto hype made him curious or even envious. Now, is he suddenly a deep crypto philosopher debating the nuances of blockchain tech? Unlikely. But he might genuinely believe that incorporating Bitcoin could be a good idea for the country, or at least that it's a trend worth hopping on rather than fighting. So yes, it's possible, even if ironic that Trump got a bit orange-pilled crypto slang for being converted into a Bitcoin believer somewhere along the way. These motives aren't mutually exclusive either. In true Trumpian fashion, the decision to publicly hype Bitcoin could very well be all of the above, a win-win-win, win-win-win-win scenario. Why pick one reason when you can hit multiple birds with one stone? He can potentially profit, score political points, feed his ego, troll his enemies, and claim he's securing America's future all at the same time. Not a bad day's work, really. Whether you think he's a genius strategist playing 4D chess, a lucky opportunist catching a trend, or just winging it with bravado, one fact is clear. Trump has tossed a big, shiny Bitcoin into the middle of the national conversation, and nothing about that is boring. Now that we've peered into the possible mind of Trump, it's time to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What does this crazy episode mean for the rest of us? How might it shape the future of cryptocurrency in the United States? Because this isn't just about one man or one coin, it might be a turning point in how crypto is seen and governed in America. Onward to the future of crypto in America. Regulation and culture. Trump's Bitcoin escapade isn't happening in a vacuum. It could have ripple effects, pun intended, on how cryptocurrency is viewed and regulated in the United States. For better or worse, a former and possibly current president jumping into crypto is a watershed moment. So, what now? Let's explore how this might shape the future, from the halls of Washington, D.C. to the vibes on Main Street. On the regulation front, expect the government's relationship with crypto to enter uncharted territory. If Trump's plan for a crypto reserve gains traction, it means Uncle Sam is officially in the crypto game. We might see lawmakers and regulators scrambling to catch up. Picture it, congressional hearings where officials debate the merits of Bitcoin in the national treasury. Cue an older congressman drawling, "So, can I hold one of these Bitcoins in my hand, or is it all imaginary?" As a tech expert facepalms. The mere idea of a government Bitcoin reserve could push agencies like the SEC, CFTC, and Federal Reserve to finally lay down some clearer rules. They'll need to answer questions like, how do we securely store and safeguard a national crypto stash? How do we prevent market manipulation if the president can tweet and send prices flying? Don't be surprised if new legislation or executive orders emerge to formalize how the U.S. deals with digital assets. In fact, Trump's bold move might force even his political opponents to develop a clear crypto policy stance, whether that means embracing it with cautious optimism or doubling down on calls to rein it in. Regulators have historically been wary of crypto. We've all heard officials call Bitcoin a Wild West currency. But now that the Oval Office is effectively giving Bitcoin a bear hug, the regulatory tone could shift. We might get more pro-crypto initiatives from government bodies, or at least a serious effort to integrate crypto into the existing financial system under some sensible oversight. Perhaps the SEC will feel pressure to finally approve that Bitcoin ETF they've been hemming and hawing about, or the Fed might start openly researching how Bitcoin could fit into the economy, maybe alongside that digital dollar concept they've toyed with. Of course, there's also the possibility of a regulatory backlash. Not everyone is on board the crypto train. Some politicians are probably already sharpening their knives to argue that Trump's crypto embrace is reckless. If, say, Bitcoin's price swings end up hurting a lot of everyday investors, or if it looks like public funds are at risk, expect heavy criticism. We told you this stuff was too volatile, and now look, they'll crow. They'll likely roll out every concern in the book, from market instability to shady uses to the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. He's burning through electricity to store magic internet money. In that scenario, we could see pushes for stricter oversight, maybe even rules against officials deliberately moonlighting as crypto hype men. Imagine that, a law that basically says presidents can't pump and dump Bitcoin. 2025 is truly wild. Now, on the cultural front, the impact could be just as significant. Crypto has been steadily creeping into the mainstream for years, but Trump's seal of approval, or at least interest, could turbocharge that process. Suddenly, Bitcoin isn't just something tech geeks and financial rebels chat about, it's dinner table conversation for regular Americans. Did you hear what Trump said about Bitcoin? Might be a question your aunt or neighbor asks, even if they never cared about crypto before. For many folks, a former president endorsing Bitcoin gives it a legitimacy that endless CNBC panels couldn't. It's akin to a famous athlete endorsing a new workout. Suddenly, everyone's curious. We could see a wave of new people dipping their toes into crypto because, hey, if the government might be holding some, why not them too? Your skeptical uncle who used to call Bitcoin a scam might start asking you how to buy a little, just in case. Bitcoin could start shedding its image as a fringe or purely speculative plaything and be seen more as a serious asset, one that even the USA is considering putting in its vault, a digital vault, but still. Of course, American society being what it is, this might split along partisan lines initially. Trump's fans could become even more enthusiastic about crypto, proudly touting that Bitcoin is MAGA approved. Meanwhile, folks who aren't fond of Trump might eye the whole Bitcoin thing with extra skepticism, thinking, if he's into it, there must be a catch. We could bizarrely see a politicization of crypto. Red team coins versus blue team coins attitudes. Even though Bitcoin itself has no political party, it wouldn't be the first time something as neutral as a currency got caught up in the culture wars, but it's still a strange development for a digital asset that was born out of an anti-establishment ethos. In the long run, though, having national leaders talk about crypto so openly will normalize it for everyone, regardless of party. It becomes part of the everyday lexicon. Late-night comedians will crack jokes about Bitcoin briefings at the White House. SNL might do a sketch where Trump's crypto cabinet tries to explain mining and memes to him. Internet memes will go bonkers. I can already imagine Trump's face pasted onto the famous distracted boyfriend meme, with Trump turning toward Bitcoin while the US dollar, the girlfriend in the meme, looks appalled. When memes and skits are being made, you know something's gone fully mainstream. Let's not forget the financial culture of the country either. Americans love a good get-rich story, and crypto has provided plenty of those, along with some cautionary tales. If this saga continues, You might see more people who traditionally stuck to stocks or real estate giving crypto a try. More companies could start accepting Bitcoin. More stores might put up Bitcoin accepted here signs. We might even see another round of crypto commercials with celebrity cameos, hopefully with better luck than last time. We all remember a certain Hollywood star's infamous crypto ad. We've already had a taste of that in previous years' Super Bowl ads anyone, and now it could accelerate. On the flip side, skepticism will remain, and that's healthy. Not everyone will jump on the bandwagon, and many will rightfully point out crypto's risks and downsides, extreme volatility, security issues, the fact that you can't hold a Bitcoin in your hand. But the conversation will likely shift from "is crypto even legitimate?" to "how do we make crypto work safely and responsibly?" That's a significant cultural shift, moving from outright doubt to figuring out practical adoption. We should also touch on the global picture. If the United States really starts treating Bitcoin as a strategic asset, it could influence the global stance on cryptocurrency. Other countries might feel pressure to accumulate some Bitcoin for themselves or risk missing out, sparking a sort of digital gold rush among nations. A scenario that was pure science fiction a decade ago, but now doesn't seem so far-fetched. We've seen one small country, El Salvador, go all in on Bitcoin. A US move would be a whole new level. On the US home front, future administrations, even those not naturally friendly to crypto, will have to contend with the precedent being set. It's hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't just pretend the government never touched crypto once it's seriously on the table. So even if a different president down the line isn't a Bitcoin fan, they might opt to regulate or manage it rather than flat-out ban it, especially if by then a lot of American investors and the government itself have a stake in the crypto game. The genie is out of the bottle now. To sum up, here are some ways this could shape the crypto landscape in America moving forward. Policy changes. New laws or guidelines could emerge to manage government-held crypto and curb any wild market antics. Simultaneously, clearer regulations might make it easier for businesses and banks to engage with crypto, finally bringing some order to the wild west of finance. Mainstream adoption. With all this publicity, more everyday folks might start owning a bit of Bitcoin or at least learning about it. Crypto could graduate from niche internet forums to a regular topic on news shows, workplace chats, and yes, YouTube videos like this one. Public perception shift. Bitcoin might gain legitimacy in the eyes of skeptics. Hearing that the US government has a Bitcoin reserve makes the whole thing sound more concrete and less like monopoly money. Grandma might not fully get what Bitcoin is, but she'll acknowledge, well, if our country is into it, it must be something real. Political football. In the near term, crypto could become a partisan football. We might actually hear candidates squabble over who's more pro-crypto or anti-crypto. Imagine a debate where one claims, "My opponent wanted to sell off our nation's Bitcoin reserve," and the other fires back, "Well, my opponent wanted to double down and put social security funds in Ethereum." It sounds absurd, but after recent events, I wouldn't rule anything out. Innovation boom. A positive outcome could be a boom in the American crypto industry. If the Feds signal they're open to crypto, entrepreneurs and tech innovators might feel more confident building their projects here instead of overseas. We could see more blockchain startups in Silicon Valley or Silicon Alley in New York, or crypto hubs in Miami and Austin, more investment in crypto tech, and an overall sense that the US intends to lead in this new frontier rather than let other countries, or just Silicon Valley dropouts, take all the glory. Culturally and regulatorily, we're at a crossroads. On one hand, we have the image of a president gleefully hyping Bitcoin. On the other hand, the cautious voices of the old guard saying, "Steady now, this could end badly." Which way will the scale tip? That likely depends on how this grand experiment plays out. If adding Bitcoin to the national conversation or the national reserves coincides with economic benefits or even just public excitement without any disasters, more people and politicians will warm up to it and say, "Hey, maybe there's something here after all." If it blows up in our face, say, a major crash or some scandal tied to this move, then the clampdown will come hard and fast, with a lot of "I told you so" from the naysayers. One thing's certain, crypto's future in America just got even more interesting. It's no longer just about tech nerds and Wall Street traders, it's now tangled up with politics, patriotism, and public opinion. We're watching the mainstreaming of Bitcoin in real time, and it's got all the drama of a Netflix thriller. In true American fashion, there's optimism, fear, hype, and debate all swirling together in one giant national conversation. No matter which side of the fence you're on, you have to admit, this is a historic moment for those of us who have been following crypto. The fact that we're even discussing scenarios like a Bitcoin reserve shows how far Bitcoin has come from its humble beginnings on obscure internet forums. The road ahead is uncertain, but it's bound to be one heck of a ride. So buckle up, grab your popcorn and your crypto wallet, and enjoy the spectacle as it unfolds. And with characters like Trump in the mix, you can bet it won't lack entertainment value either.